Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge of the Brawler Cafe, and today we are covering the Pyrus cards of Bakugan Resurgence. So we are going to start off with the rerolls, because it's what matters the most. The rerolls are what matter. It's what makes the Pyrus stuff in this set good. Alright? Okay, first off, quickfire. This is the only zero cost reroll. And like, it's even more than that. It's a burn damage. This is extremely useful when you're in a situation where, hey, my opponent is down to zero deck. I can just quickfire and kill them. Very useful. And also zero cost. Zero cost reroll. That's great. Pre-proc on open effects for free. Not automatically lose the round for free. I find this better than Greater Water Boost and take it over it in many decks when it comes to Wave Slash activation and Tides activation. Like, it's just a much more impactful card than most zero costs, so it's way better to use as an activator for those full cards in the early game. Next up, Super Fuel. It's the pact of the set. It costs a lot. And it's a one cost reroll. And when you open, you get to play the next card for 3 energy less. It's Song of Fire, but better in every way and more relevant in every way. It's amazing. Really good card. Really great. Really good. Super staple in Pyrus. Very expensive. And last reroll for Pyrus. This doesn't like see any player mention, but I actually do want to mention it because it's not that bad. It's a 3 cost optional reroll and you gain double strike. This is like the best double strike giver in the game. So if you wanted double strike giving, like, use dual strike, because like it's pretty good at that job. It's pretty solid at that job. Next up, the big overhype, Air Zero. This card is trash. The reason Dan is good is that you can proc it every turn and also on rerolls. You proc this once, reveal some trash and go, oh, I guess I wasted a card. Oh, I guess I wasted my turn too and lose automatically. Like, it's not very good, guys. It's not worth trying to cheat out that stuff. Just super fuel into Dan, guys. Just super fuel into Dan. It's not that hard. Just get good. Yeah, no, I don't like this card. I think it is extremely overhyped. I think it is actually quite bad in like literally everything except maybe Maximus, because you're a cheese WinCon deck and like any one of your pieces you can get out for free is pretty solid, and like you're just stalling until you can win the game anyways, so like that loss of tempo doesn't matter as much to you. But overall, I think this card is really bad, and I highly recommend against using it. Boom! I want to mention this because it is so absurdly above the damage par. Like, it's 6 energy for plus 20 damage. Like, this is like 50% more damage than... No, that's more than 50% more damage than you would typically expect out of this cost. It's kind of absurd, and it's still bad because it costs 6 energy, and like, if you're in a scenario where you're able to spend that much without losing the battle, like, that scenario isn't going to be common enough to spend deck space on this. Especially since that probably means they didn't spend like any energy this turn, which means they're gonna have energy to play to stop the damage with any flip they hit in the more than 20 damage you're dealing them. Like, not worthwhile card. All damage boosters are traps. Lastly, we have Anger. This is besides the rerolls, this is the other Pyrus card that's freaking incredible. 2 energy, plus 300, we barely below par, and being that close with this effect is pretty good. Because it's Fury. If you have no cards in hand, draw 2 cards. I like Pot of Greed. Do you like Pot of Greed? It's not quite Pot of Greed because like you need no hand, but like easy resource refuel. Just let it sit in your hand until you're out. Drop it for 2. Get plus 300B. Get free 2 cards. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like, really good card. Love this card a lot. I put it at 2 in basically every Pyrus deck I build. Like, it's that good. It's pretty much staple. Staple tech slot. Really good card. Really solid. Gives Pyrus an actually good draw option. Heroes. Jenkins, I feel it's worth mentioning because it's pretty decent. 2 energy. Fury at the end of the turn. If you have no cards in hand, make a Pyrus attack for 2. That is pretty good value for that cost. Repeatable, stuff like that. The main reason this isn't really seen in play is because Pyrus Hyper Serpentine exists. So if you're going to build a burn deck, you're going to do that instead of the thing that requires Fury. On to the Bakugan. First up, we have Pyrus Dragonoid Ultra. Pretty solid boy. Comes with a Magic Shield and Flaming Fist and a 505 base. Which means he's a good Magic Shield boy. Of course, he's a Dragonoid Ultra, which means he has the good old yeeting problem. Which is always important to note, especially when you're dealing with a core as powerful as a Magic Shield. But he's a pretty solid boy. Gets outclassed by Nobilious Ultra completely though. And his Evo is not too fantastic. It's 2 cost for plus 300 B and plus 3 damage, which means below par B power gain on an Evo. And it caps out pretty low is the other problem. So it's not fantastic. Not a great Evo. And you know what? While Nobilious may have not gotten the most low cost Evo, Misa makes him pretty big. A lot bigger than this ever will. And Pyrus Diamond Dragonoid Ultra, I want to mention this briefly because this is one of the few high cost evolutions that is actually like relatively worth its cost for cheesing it out. Like, let's say you cheese this out at 4 cost with Divine Intervention. You are spending more cards than you normally would on an Evo, but just cost benefit. You are gaining 1300 B for 4 energy. That's really high value. So that makes this like one of the very few high cost Evos that is actually worth like trying to cheese out, because you are getting really high value out of it, and its base form is still pretty solid. So yeah, I actually think this is pretty good for that sort of cheese deck. Go forth, ye who want to cheese with Divine Intervention and Dan and stuff. Next up, Pyrus Howlcore Ultra. Yay, my favorite. Pyrus with double magic shields comes with the abysmal base stats of 102. Absolutely awful. You're not winning anything, even against like the weakest of common archetypal Bakugan, which is stuff like Aqua's Fangs on a Flaming Fist, or Chaos Pegatrix on a Green Fist. Those are going to be at like 850 B, which is still more than Howlcore, this Howlcore on a Magic Shield. And to make matters worse, its evolution is a 5 cost. Huge cost. Like just gigantic cost. And if you're not able to Super Fuel or Song of Fire it, which is a 2-card combo, by turn 3, you're probably going to end up in a scenario where you have to roll out that Howlcore into that ability, and you could always just not draw this, unless you're running Dark Fortune, which most people playing Howlcore Ultra have not been doing. And here's the best part, guys. You know, it might have 25 damage, but you see, there's this Bakugan called Pyrus Serpentine Ultra, and you see when it's in Fury, with its 2-cost evolution, by the way, 2-cost evolution, not 5 cost, 2 cost, it becomes 1500 B and 12 damage? I think I'm going to take the more generally useful thing over the big damage. I'm 25 damage, oh, they hit a flip. Like, strategies that fold to your opponent just getting lucky on a flip aren't ones you should really dedicate yourself to. Which is yet another reason why damage boosters are not very good. Because you're investing cards and energy into, and deck space, into a strategy, into a play that can just not matter because your opponent got lucky on the first damage. Would not recommend. Lastly, we have one I would very strongly recommend. When I talked about it earlier, when I was talking about Jenkins, this is Pyrus Serpentine's Core. Both Pyrus Serpentines are good. So this is Flaming Fist and Normal Fist, 601. So good base B power. And its evolution is a big 5 cost, but trust me, this one's absolutely worth it. So you're only getting 400 B gain, but that doesn't matter. That's not relevant. When this opens, if it is holding a Flaming Fist, you make a Pyrus attack for 5 damage. And of course, you can repeat this every time you reroll onto a Flaming Fist. So you just get to Hyper Serpentines, unload a bunch of rerolls, and win the game with burn damage. It's really strong, really scary. Yeah, it's a real burn deck. It's a good thing this costs 5 because like you can already like potentially get this out on turn 3 with rerolls. This Bakugan is freaking terrifying. Horrifies me. Absolute horrifies me. Can just come in out of nowhere and go, I'm burning your entire deck away. You lose now. Fortunately, because of the way this ends up working, because of the high cost of the evolution, they will typically not be burning you out for game until the turn after they first play down the Evo. So you absolutely have the opportunity to just wane this away before they can do the full combo on you, which is pretty nice. Thank you for making this 5 cost. And lastly, the Pyrus core type flips. Like with Aquos, Pyrus is continued to be doomed to bad flips in exchange for their strong card pool, which was not strong last set, but it is now very strong because Super Fuel and Anger and Quickfire are all amazing. So Ash Cloud is 0 cost, stops a Bakugan holding Shield. Shield is decently common, but not nearly as common as Green Fist. And Constrictor stops Green Fist and Helix. Helix, as I said with Dazzle in the Chaos video, Helix is extremely uncommon and will basically only be seen in decks built around Helix cores. So core type flips that stop Helix are probably the worst ones overall. And that is it for Pyrus. Pyrus got like amazing tools this set. There's some big noob traps here, but Super Fuel, Quickfire, Anger, those cards are incredible. And Pyrus Serpentine creates a whole new archetype of burn damage, and it's just, oh my god. Pyrus jumped from being, it's kind of okay, it has Might and Mac, and those are pretty good, to, oh, this is one of the best factions in the game. This is one of the best card pools in the game. So yeah, Pyrus is pretty good. Pyrus is pretty good. With that said, we have one last faction to go through, and then after that, we're diving into Age of Aurelus. So see you guys next time on Ventus.